Hi, I'm Kenneth WAJDA. I'm a professional photographer here in Colorado. Welcome to another one of my weekly photography talks. So today I'm going to talk about the art of the snapshot. I love snapshots. Snapshots are their own special thing because they weren't made for any kind of a art market. They were made for putting in our picture frame, putting in our photo album. So I sometimes buy old photographs. This is a photo album that I picked up at a local flea market, and the whole photo album was only like $8 or $10, I think. And I always wondered, like, why would somebody sell these photographs? Why wouldn't you want to keep these photographs? And I guess there's people who they don't really know who they are and they don't write on them and all of that, but it just seems to me like photographs are family history. And there's something about making a photograph and putting it in print with a white border. I like that. I heard somebody say in a talk about snapshot photography, which have become somewhat interesting to museums. They've actually done exhibitions of snapshots, and there are collectors of snapshots. But the difference between a snapshot and an image is back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you always printed a negative with a white border and sometimes a little scalloped edge, sometimes a little date printed on it. But in the 80s, 90s, you got to have borderless 4x6 prints. And those felt less like snapshots and more like images. And I prefer the snapshot look. I like a black and white photograph in a white scallop frame if I could have my choice. And to this day, I still print with white borders. And if I print a photograph like the photograph of Henry Dahlon's granddaughter I talked about a few weeks ago, I printed that even though it's a 6x6 square negative. I printed that on an 8x10 piece of paper with maybe an inch-and-a-half border on the sides and a deeper border on top and bottom, because I wasn't looking to fill the frame. I was looking to create space for it in a frame. And I like the idea of white borders, and I like that snapshot look. Is it nostalgia? Maybe. It just feels like it's presented, or it's got a little finish to it. When I photograph and put some photographs online, I'll even put a border on or put some kind of white space on, and then the slightest gray outside of that white so that you can see where the white separates from the gray and you can see where the border stops. I think it's important about presentation. I've always been fascinated by good presentation. I think Apple kind of started it when they started presenting their devices with elegant boxing, and then other companies started following suit, and you see a lot of technology presented in beautiful display boxes and beautiful, you know, it's just a box, but it's not just a box, it's a presentation. You paid a little extra and you get to have something that's a little special. The difference between a Prada bag and a Target bag, they both do the same thing, but that Prada bag probably has a little bit more of a presentation in how you get it because you paid 10 times or 20 times as much as the one from Target. And they both do the exact same thing. But one of them has that feeling of something special. I like to present my work with that, and so I often will print borders. I'll often create a feeling that you're getting the whole thing. You're getting something that's been handmade and it has some, it doesn't fit it's not like, okay, the 6x6 frame, cut the top and bottom off and fill the 8x10 and put it in a frame. I'm not, again, looking to fill the frame. I'm looking to create an image. The full image isn't 8x10. It's much smaller. It's square, and it fits inside that 8x10 frame with a border, and it gives me a place to sign it. I like that look. I guess that's a look that I probably have seen in museums and in shows, and for that reason, I'm drawn to it. I think we're all drawn to things that we've seen before, and it's not like we're ever coming up with things brand new out of the blue. And I like that very simple, clean look. But snapshots, they seem to me like sometimes you can find them in different shows or different flea market type shows or yard sale type shows. This was from a local, they had a market at the local fairgrounds, and so you were able to go and walk around all these booths. All these antique vendors came. It wasn't all mom and pops, but some mom and pops. And sometimes you can pick up collections of snapshots. And for me, I like to make up a little collection that are more of the special ones. Some of the ones that catch my eye as being nicely photographed or little storytelling. And I think there are different collectors who do different things. Some collectors collect only cars. Some collectors collect only ones with people making human pyramids. Some collectors collect only people eating meals. And some people collect girls. Some people collect boys. It's all whatever is your, maybe a theme that you can say, I can't collect everything. I might as well make a choice and collect only those. But there are collectors who do that, and there's one collector who's kind of known. His link I'll put down below. I'm not familiar enough with his name to remember it, but his work has been put into collections because it's so well known, and he's donated a lot to different museums to keep them as items to be preserved because they do document the history of families. So I'm a big fan of a snapshot. If you buy them individually at antique stores, they can often be $1 and $2 each or more. If you buy them online on eBay, you can see them for $2 to $5. But if you buy them in a whole collection, you can get pretty good deals on whole collections, especially at yard sales and those kinds of places that are outside of the antique market. And buying a lot of them gives you a lot more choices to have a lot of different kinds. And I like that. And I actually keep them in that photo album because I think it's just interesting to see how they presented them back in their time and what they were, and that's part of it. All right, that's today's photography talk. If you're enjoying these, hit the subscribe button. Do you have any snapshots? If you have any that are special to you and you would scan it and put it online, put a link to it, and we would love to see it. I'll be back next week. Thanks so much for tuning in, and as always, here's the good light.